Yet this cannot be natural, for it is unlike the relationship of God and His Son, and all relationships that are unlike this one must be unnatural. For God created love as He would have it be, and gave it as it is. Love has no meaning except as its Creator defined it by His will. It is impossible to define it otherwise and understand it. Love is freedom. To look for it by placing yourself in bondage is to separate yourself from it. Now there's something right there. Every special relationship is a relationship of bondage.
Right.
Because it has terms.
Contracts.
Contracts, right. Laws, terms, contracts. You will fulfill your end of this thing. Now, we know that this is my world, so as we enter into these contracts and call it love, it's loaded with sacrifice, but it's also loaded with investment principles, which is, okay, I'm going to lay this down, I'm going to sacrifice some things, but I recognize I'm getting something in return, and what I'm getting in return is greater than my investment, greater than my sacrifice.
Right. Right.
The only problem with that is the other person's doing the exact same thing. Right. And if you don't believe that, just hang around divorce court and you'll see what it's all about.
When the minister says, for better or for worse, and you say, I do, and I'm not against the system. I'm merely making an example here.
Sure.
I'm not attacking.
Right. We're not attacking marriage. We don't.
All I'm saying is, when you say for better or for worse, you're hearing the better. Mm-hmm. They're hearing the worse. Mm-hmm. They're hearing the better for them and the worse. So I'm always looking for the better.
Right.
So don't give me the worst.
Right. Because if you give me the worst, I'll substitute and find better.
That's right.
Right.
Because this thought cannot be satisfied.
Right.
This is a thought that you can, if you're dealing with the personal level, you can do everything under the sun, but you're never satisfied. Mm-hmm. Because it cannot be satisfied. Because all that will satisfy is all that there is, and that's love. And love is joining. Mm-hmm. Love, peace, joy, and happiness is the results of embracing your realities, love. Right. And by the way, that's what's found in the real world.
Right.
That's what the real world is about. It's the happy dream is a happy dream because it's the end of all dreams. Yeah. And it's the last world of perception that you deal with.
Right. It is still perception.
Still perception.
So it is still illusion.
Right.
But it's reflecting reality.
Right.
And that's the difference. For the love of God, Jesus had just said, for the love of God, no longer seek for union and separation, nor for freedom and bondage. As you release, so will you be released. Forget this not, or love will be unable to find you and comfort you. There is a way in which the Holy Spirit asks your help, if you would have His. The holy instant is His most helpful aid in protecting you from the attraction of guilt, the real lure in the special relationship. So here we get back to the attraction of guilt. Why is guilt so attractive?
Why is guilt so attractive?
Guilt's attractive because we're trying to hold on to a false thought. Right. When we made the determination, first of all, we have to go back to the beginning of this thing. The Son asked the Father for something to be special. Right. We just got done reading. There is no special. We cannot make something special. So the Son decided, okay, well, I'm going to separate from the Father. I'll do my own thing.
I'll be author, finisher.
I'll be the author. The problem with that is it brings guilt. But as long as I want to hold on to that thought, I've got to hold on to the guilt.
Right.
Now, that's not a very comfortable thing, so we try to project that guilt. Right. That's where the world came from.
Right.
Okay, I've got to have somebody to blame, so we have to have bodies to separate. See, we can't be one, obviously, because there's two different bodies here.
Right.
I'll walk out of this room and off this set right now.
Well, see,
and that'll be a representation of separation.
And that body is that symbol of that specialness that I believe I am.
Right.
Until the Holy Spirit can turn it into a communication device.
Right. So the guilt is in everything. It's the heart of this entire ego thought system.
Right.
So the special relationship has become its end and its means ends up in guilt.
Right.
It
Right.
fosters guilt. It results in guilt
Right.
because it's a thought of separation.
You
It's
know,
a reminder of the thought that you're running from.
I was on my way over. I was thinking of something that's interesting about this. You know, words are symbols of symbols, and we're dealing with the heart of this thing is the guilt. To try to get rid of the guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thought I got. And you know, I constantly listen to the Spirit, because if you identify with the Spirit, that's the voice you hear.
Mm-hmm.
The words that we use are used to dress ourselves, to make ourselves look good.
Mm-hmm.
So we build ourselves up, we dress ourselves up. But in order to do that, you got to take those same words and those same ideas, and you've got to project that guilt that you don't want, because you're not going to dress up in guilt,
Mm-hmm.
and undress somebody else
Mm-hmm.
and expose their nakedness
Right.
and their shame,
Mm-hmm.
and them be guilty.
Right.
See?
Sure.
But what you fail to realize is, because this thing is set up in such a way to constantly attack yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you've dressed the front and you're undressing your back.
Mm-hmm.
So you are constantly working to try to cover your guilt and to get rid of your guilt.
Right.
But to attack what you believe to be another person is to merely attack yourself. You can't attack. There is nobody
There's
else.
That's still one.
We're still dealing with a thought here.
Right.
And that thought is the guilt of the whole situation. And how can I get rid of it but hold on to my specialness?
Right.
You can't. Get rid of your specialness by choosing again.
Right.
And then the guilt is no longer an issue.
Right. That's why all religions are an attempt to get rid of this guilt by making you special.
Making you special.